Archaeologists uncover a leather boot buried in European soil, sealed away since the early 1200s. It has spent nearly 800 years underground, exposed to moisture, pressure, and time itself. And yet, when it's lifted from the earth, the leather hasn't crumbled. The stitching still holds. When the material is gently flexed, it bends instead of cracking. You can still see the original tooling marks left by the craftsman's hands. Now pause for a moment and think about your own leather jacket. After 2 winters, maybe 3, the elbows stiffen and split. The surface dries out. The color fades unevenly. Seams that were sold as premium begin to tear apart. Somehow, leather made in the Middle Ages regularly survives centuries, while modern leather struggles to survive a decade. That difference isn't accidental, and isn't because medieval craftsmen had better technology. It's because they followed principles that modern industry deliberately abandoned. This video unravels how the 3 reasons medieval leather lasted for centuries, and why modern leather was engineered to fail. Everything starts with time. Secret 1. Time was the process, not a cost. In the medieval world, leather was never rushed. A single hide could take anywhere from 6 months to over a year to become usable leather, depending on thickness and purpose. That wasn't inefficiency. That was the method. Modern leather, by comparison, goes from raw hide to finished product in less than 24 hours. That single change explains almost everything. Medieval tanners relied on vegetable tanning, using oak bark, chestnut wood, and other tannin-rich plants. These tannins didn't coat the surface of the hide the way modern chemicals do. They moved slowly, fiber by fiber, through the entire thickness of the leather. Think of it like marinating food, but instead of hours, it took entire seasons. Tannins needed time to migrate, bond, and stabilize the collagen structure that gives leather its strength. If you rush the process, the leather failed. So medieval craftsmen didn't rush it. Oak bark was harvested in autumn when tannin levels were highest. Through winter, hide sat in cool conditions that prevented rot while allowing slow chemical reactions to continue. By spring, the hide wasn't just preserved. It had been transformed at a molecular level. When modern tanning removed time from the equation, it didn't make leather better. It made it weaker from the inside out. Secret 2. Materials weren't ingredients, they were systems. Oak bark was only the foundation. Different regions refined different formulas based on purpose and climate. Chestnut wood was prized in southern Europe because its tannins penetrated deeper, creating leather that was strong yet flexible. Spanish tanners guarded chestnut sources like military secrets because wood from specific valleys produced superior results. For fine gloves, Italian craftsmen used sumac. Its condensed tannins bonded differently with collagen, allowing movement without sacrificing strength. Nobility demanded leather that felt like skin, not armor, and sumac delivered exactly that. Willow bark added preservation. Rich in salicin, it slowed bacterial decay and stabilized leather for centuries. English tanners combined willow with oak in precise seasonal ratios, adjusting formulas throughout the year. And for water resistance, medieval craftsmanship became genuinely ingenious. They used fat tanning, working birch tar and animal oils deep into the leather over months. Not sprayed, not coated, massaged in by hand. Russian leather became legendary across Europe because birch tar didn't just repel water. It bonded chemically with the leather fibers, forming waterproof barriers at the molecular level. Each oil application was followed by a drying period, allowing fats to penetrate deeper with every cycle. Over time, the leather didn't degrade. It improved. The oils continued to migrate and settle into increasingly stable arrangements. Modern waterproof coatings crack, peel, and trap moisture. Medieval leather became more water-resistant the longer you used it. That's because natural tannins aren't single chemicals. They're hundreds of compounds working together. Oak created structure. Chestnut added flexibility. Sumac refined texture. Willow stabilized decay. Birch tar sealed everything from the inside out. Modern tanning tries to replace this chemistry with shortcuts. Shortcuts always fail. Secret 3. Human judgment was never removed. Medieval leather wasn't made by factories. It was made by masters. Leatherworking was controlled by guild systems that enforced quality with extreme discipline. Apprentices began training around age 12. Years were spent learning hide selection, weather effects, seasonal chemistry, and failure detection. Experienced tanners could feel whether an animal had been stressed before slaughter. They could detect subtle differences in fiber density, invisible to the eye. They understood how diet, age, and climate shape durability long before science had words for those processes. They didn't follow fixed recipes. They adapted constantly. If winter ran colder, tanning times changed. If bark quality varied, concentrations adjusted. If humidity shifted, processing slowed or stopped entirely. Machines cannot do this. Modern production demands consistency, even when the material itself is inconsistent. So judgment was eliminated. Adaptation was removed. Human intelligence was replaced with speed. Quality collapsed as a result. Why modern leather fails at the molecular level. Leather's strength comes from collagen, long protein chains woven through the hide like steel beams in a building. Vegetable tannins create stable, permanent bonds between those chains. Bonds that actually strengthen with age. Chrome tanning does the opposite. Chromium salts create a highly alkaline environment that forms fast bonds but damages collagen structure in the process. The leather looks finished, but its internal framework is already compromised. Electron microscopy makes this impossible to deny. Medieval vegetable tan leather shows intact collagen bundles with even chemical distribution. Modern chrome tan leather shows damaged fibers, collapsed pores, and microfractures from day one. That's why medieval leather survives centuries. And modern leather fails predictably. Chrome tanning dominates because it turns raw hide into sellable leather in 24 hours instead of 18 months. Less storage, less labor, faster profit. But there's a darker truth. Chrome tanning produces toxic waste. Chromium byproducts are carcinogenic. Workers suffer elevated cancer rates and respiratory disease. Entire water systems are poisoned for generations. Medieval tanning smelled bad. Modern tanning poisons people. And then there's planned obsolescence. Modern leather is engineered to fail. Plastic coatings make it look premium while accelerating breakdown. Durability testing ensures products die just after warranties expire. This isn't decay. It's design. Medieval leather lasted centuries because time, natural materials, and human judgment created permanent molecular bonds that strengthened with age. Modern leather fails because we chose speed over durability, profit over people, and consistency over intelligence. If you want leather that actually lasts, look for vegetable tan leather. It costs more up front, but it's cheaper when measured in years instead of months. Next time, I'll show you exactly how to identify real quality leather and how brands trick you into buying junk. Stay sharp.